Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're retaking a nostalgic journey through the heart of Bollywood to explore a theme that is both timeless and ever-changing love. From handwritten letters exchanged in secret to late-night texts that light up our screens. From anxiously waiting at train stations to casually swiping right on a dating app, Bollywood has been our faithful companion. Capturing every flutter of the heart, every tear of heartbreak, every grand gesture and quiet moment. So grab your popcorn, get comfortable, and let's travel through time together. We'll revisit 5 incredible decades to see just how the idea of romance has transformed, both on screen and in our lives. Let's begin our journey in the 1980s. The 80s. It's an era where love was painted with strokes of purity, sacrifice, and an unshakable belief in destiny. Think back to films like Qayamat, say Qayamat Tak, or Maine Pyar, Kiya. Love wasn't just a feeling. It was a sacred vow, a trial by fire. Lovers in these stories weren't rebelling for the sake of rebellion or to grab attention. Their defiance was rooted in a deep sense of honor and commitment. It was a time of stolen glances across crowded rooms that held more meaning than 1,000 words. Of handwritten notes passed secretly, and of singing heartfelt songs under a blanket of stars. Every gesture, no matter how small, felt grand and eternal. The romance of the 80s was defined by patience. Love meant waiting, proving your worth, and sometimes it meant waiting forever for the one you were destined to be with. It was a beautiful, often painful testament to the idea that true love was worth any sacrifice. As we step into the 1990s, the world of Bollywood romance exploded with color, melody, and a newfound sense of courage. This was the decade that gave us iconic films like Dil Well Dulhania, Le Janj Hum, Ape Kane Kaun, and Dil to Pagal High. While love still held on to its traditional roots, it was now infused with a bold confidence. The heroes and heroines of the 90s didn't just passively accept their fate, they actively pursued their happiness. They wanted it all. The whirlwind passion of a modern romance, and the cherished approval of their families. The 90s taught us that you could fight for your love without disrespecting your elders. Think about it. When Baldev Singh finally tells Simran, "Yes, Simran, ya apni zindagi," it wasn't just a line in a movie. It was a cultural revolution. It symbolized a shift where parents began to understand that their children's happiness was paramount. Love became larger than life, with grand Swiss landscapes and vibrant wedding celebrations, yet it remained beautifully and relatably human at its core. Now let's fast forward to the 2000s, the dawn of a new millennium. As we entered this new era, love grew wings and took flight into the bustling modern landscapes of the city. This was the decade of Kal Ho Na Ho Jab We Met and Salam Namaste. Romance became more urban, more practical, and wonderfully imperfect. The stories moved away from idyllic villages and into the complexities of city life, friendships, and careers. More importantly, the 2000s were about discovery. Characters weren't just falling in love with others. They were on a journey to find themselves. Geet from Jab We Met taught us the power of self-love and living in the moment. While the characters in Salam Namaste navigated the realities of a live-in relationship, something rarely seen before. Relationships were now about a deep, genuine connection, shared laughter, and the beautiful possibility of second chances. The promise wasn't always forever. Sometimes, it was about being real. Right here, right now. Love in the 2000s was a breath of fresh air. It was messy, complicated, and deeply emotional, just like life itself. Entering the 2010s, the pace of life quickened, and so did the pulse of romance in Bollywood. Love in this decade became intense, raw, and often quite self-aware, if not a little self-centered. Films like Ya Jawani, Hai Diwani, Tamasha, and even the controversial Kabir Singh reflected a generation caught between soaring ambitions and gnawing anxieties. The central conflict was no longer just about uniting two lovers against external forces. It was an internal battle. Characters wrestled with their dreams, their past traumas, and their fear of commitment. The search was for meaning in a fast-paced, often isolating world. Romance wasn't a fairy tale escape anymore. Instead, it became a catalyst for personal growth, a journey of healing from past wounds, and sometimes it was about learning the painful but necessary lesson of letting go. The love stories of the 2010s showed us that relationships are complicated, that people are flawed, and that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away to find yourself. And that brings us to today, the 2020s. In this current decade, love on the silver screen is more honest and unflinching than ever before. We're seeing films like Garyan, Rocky or Rani Ki, Prem Kahani, and the newer Love Ajkal that aren't afraid to get real. The conversations have shifted. We're now openly talking about mental health within relationships, the importance of personal space, and the fundamental need for self-worth. Love is portrayed as messy, emotional, and incredibly unapologetically human. The narrative is no longer about chasing a perfect, happily ever after ending. Instead, characters are choosing real, authentic connections, even if they're imperfect and don't fit a conventional mold. The focus has moved from possession to partnership. Love in the 2020s means growing together, supporting each other's individual journeys, and understanding that a healthy relationship enhances who you are. It doesn't complete you. It's a reflection of our time's complex, conscious, and constantly redefining what it means to truly connect with another person. So what have we learned on this journey through time? From the destined sacrificial love of the 80s to the rebellious passion of the 90s, the urban self-discovery of the 2000s, the complicated intensity of the 2010s, and finally, the raw honesty of today. Love has always been a mirror reflecting the values, dreams, and anxieties of its time. The faces on screen have changed, the fashion has evolved, and the music has found new rhythms. But through it all, one thing has remained constant: the sound of a beating heart. That fundamental, universal feeling of connection. Because no matter the decade, no matter the generation, love remains the most powerful, the most relatable, and the most profoundly human story ever told. Thank you so much for joining me on this trip down memory lane. Which decade of Bollywood romance is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. See you in the next one.